Hello students, welcome to my class. I'm Keerti and today we are going to discuss very short topics that are hotspots and extension, right? So you are already aware with the term biodiversity. What is biodiversity? See, all the type of organism present on our earth are present, they show a hell lot of variation. Each plant, each species of plant is different from other, right? So this biodiversity means the diversity which is present in the living organism. For for our purpose to classify them or study them very easily, we have divided this diversity into three categories. One is genetic diversity, other is species diversity, and ecological diversity. Okay, for example, a particular species, a single species, when we take into account, various variations are present in their gene structure. That is known as genetic diversity. And species diversity, of course, because the diversity which are present, at the species level, even within the species, there are very diverse type of, say, organism or say plants. If we are talking about the plants are present there. And what is ecological diversity? Ecological diversity, for say in case of India, we have different terrains, different area, different geographical area, different kind of plants, and number of plants and number of animals. Matlab, as a whole, it is, you know consist of various number of various variations of organisms, right? So this is only a short idea. In this session, we are going to discuss two topics: what is hotspot and what we may call as extinction. How, when we say the extinction of a particular species has occurred, right? So, this biodiversity and conservation is actually focusing on what? The regions which are having high biodiversity, have various type of, you know, species are there. And the threats the threats they are the threats are also there, which are ultimately leading to the loss of these species, right? So I already told you, biodiversity refers to the variety of living organism at all levels: genetic, species, ecosystem. And why it is important? It is important because it is maintaining a ecological balance and it is supporting the life on earth, right? Because if, suppose, say, if a particular plant is, present in its natural form, it has not evolved, say, what will happen if some kind of adversity is there? The plant may die, and the death of the plant will ultimately lead to the loss of the plant from the environment. But that is not the case, because for the same plant, for the same species, we will be having different plants belonging to the same species, right? So, what are biodiversity hotspots? These are regions with extremely high species richness and a high degree of endemism. What does endemism mean? It means that a particular type of species or the living organism is present in a particular area. They will not be found in other areas, right? And that is why these species, since they are so rich, okay, these species, these areas face exceptional threats. Threats from what? From human activities. See, it is always said that the nature has supported the organism, the humans, they will support the requirement of each and every organism. but not the creed associated with it, the greed associated with it, right? Once the human become greedy, it will exploit each and every part, be it natural, be it man-made, and extreme use of anything will lead to the loss of that particular thing, right? You can use the natural resources for your requirement, whatever your requirement is, but exploitation, it means you are actually damaging that particular natural resource, whatever natural resource you can take into account, be it the water present in our ponds, lakes, or various resources, right? Be it a particular time of medicinal plant if you are taking into account, right? So this biodiversity hotspot was introduced by Norman Mayer, right? And his purpose was to identify priority areas for conservation based on species diversity and threat level, right? So when we say a particular area is a hotspot, what is the criteria associated with it, right? So the criteria first is, at least it has, the area must have 1500 species of vascular plants, and it must be endemic. It means these plants must not found in another area, right? And the area must have lost at least 70% of its original natural vegetation, right? So these are the areas which need critical conservation effort. See, say for a plant, if it is endemic to a particular area, you cannot extract the plant from that particular area and go, and drop into a different area, or make it grow in a different area. It will not grow, because these species of plants are endemic to that particular area. Same happens with animal. If an animal is endemic to a particular type of climate, it is not going to survive in another climate or another environmental condition, right? So we have to conserve that particular species in that particular area. We cannot migrate them from here and there, right? That is why these hotspots are created, because they are made to conserve them in that particular region only. We are not going to extract or pick them and plant. If in case of plant, we are going to stuck out the plant and plant it somewhere else. No, that will not happen. So initially there were 25 hotspots were identified. Now the number has expanded to 34, right? Even though these hotspots you know cover less than 2% of Earth's surface, you can imagine how much area we are taking into account. 2% only. But this 2% of area is, containing about 50% of plant species and 42% of terrestrial vertebrate. So you can imagine that these 34 areas that we have identified, that we have set the hotspot, how much diversity they are having, right? Am I clear? Right? So in India, we have three hotspot, the major hotspot that we are going to discuss in very short. It has, the Himalaya, of course, the Indo-Burma region, the Western Ghats, and Sri Lanka. These regions are rich in endemic flora and fauna. Okay, flora, all the type of vegetation that we are taking into account, and fauna is all the type of animals that we are taking into account, right? So the Himalaya covers the mountain ranges from Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. What kind of plants are there? It contains alpine meadows, contains large number of coniferous forest, right? And the fauna include the snow leopard and red panda, right? So these hotspots that are there, it need to be conserved. It need to be saved from the human exploitation. Illegal poaching is very common in India, right? Animals are killed and traded to other countries. The animal part, for example, say the elephant, the tusk of the elephant are being killed for that purpose, right? And these are illegally traded to other countries, right? Our next region is the Indo-Burma region, right? The area includes the northeastern India, Myanmar, and parts of Southeast Asia. And these areas are known for what's orchid, primate, tropical rainforest, right? Other, we have the Western Ghats. It is located along the India's western coast. These are rich in amphibians, right? The reptiles and plant diversity. It is also home to numerous endemic species, right? But these are also lost due to deforestation and agriculture, right? So what is happening? How these are, how there is a stage achieved known as extinction. Sorry, extinction. See, extinction is the complete disappearance of a species from Earth, right? But it is natural. It is a natural process, but it is being accelerated by human activities, whatever humans are doing, whether they are clearing the jungles, whether, they are poaching animals, right? This is ultimately leading to, the fastness of this process. That is why many endangered species, what are endangered species, have identified these endangered species are in a verge of extinction. They have not, extent, but India has lost many of these, right? If particular steps are not taken by the government, like if we are not going to work in a way to save these endangered species of plants and animals, time will come that these will be lost, right? So this extinction, what are the causes? Habitat loss and fragmentation, of course, over exploitation, alien species invasions, co-extinction. See, habitat loss and fragmentation, it may happen with some of the natural, the disaster, if there is, for example, flood or drought, but it mostly happen because of the human activities. It may happen that some of these species may come through flooding from a particular area to a different area, right? But the condition of, happening of these are less, but the activities of human are mostly responsible for all these, extension things. That is why it is written that these factors are primarily driven by human actions. Human, for their greed, they are cutting various a number of trees. They are illegally poaching animals, right? So what will happen? We will lose the natural species of these organisms, whether it is plant or animal. And once the natural species is lost, we cannot recover it. That is why endangered species need you know, more concerns from the government so that they can be saved, right? These are some of the recent extinctions, right? It means they are lost. We are not going to revive them. The dodo from Mauritius, the bird, the quagga from Africa, thylacine from Australia, Steeler sea cow from Russia, some of the tiger species, subspecies, for example, Bali, Javan, and Caspian, they are being lost. It means the last individual of that particular species now is dead. We are not going to recover it, right? So, what are the consequences of this extension? These are creating the loss of biodiversity. These are creating imbalance. These are also reducing productivity. Of course, if there are, less number of plants present on a particular area, the primary productivity will get reduced, right? And this will create a more vulnerable situation, more disturbance to the environment. For both, even humans will be affected by all these. Human cannot escape from this, right? That is why this hotspot protection, these are the primary thing done by each government of the country, right? These includes protective areas. They will establish national park, biosphere reserves, and enforcing conservation laws, right? You have seen some zoos are created when the particular type of organism we are not able to, you know, save them in their particular area. We take them, we create artificial environment from, like what happened in zoos, right? They are feed officially by the caretakers, right? They are not, for example, if tiger is conserved in a zoo, of course it is not going to wander in like it used to do in jungles. The food is provided by the caretaker, right? So there are several steps taken by each and every government of each and every country to conserve all these natural species, right? Some of them which are at the verge of extinction, they are also being monitored and cared by the respective institutions that are involved, right? That is why these hotspots are there, these conservation spots are there, the biosphere reserves are there, various national parks are there. Okay. So this is a very short topic. Hope you are clear with this topic. If you have any query regarding this session or my previous sessions, you can contact me through my Urban Pro profile, right? Till then, keep revising, keep going through your NCRTs, right? We will meet in our next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.